Hello, we are midweek and it's kind of kitchen prep day. I did a big kitchen prep day on Monday, which was like bread, stuff like that, just to get ready for the week. And then this is midweek, which is kind of making like little lunches for us to have, snacks that we've run out of and all that kinds of stuff. So first we are making two different pasta salads. So I already threw away the box, but I had a box of penne noodles, whole wheat penne noodles that I got from Azure Standard that we needed to use up. So I cooked the whole box, but I'm halving the noodles and I'm gonna make two different pasta salads. So the first one that we're gonna make was actually supposed to be a tuna pasta salad. When I went to go get tuna, I was out, which is crazy. I've never been out of tuna in my entire life. That's just always something I have. But somehow the cans of chicken got mistaked for tuna and I need to order some. So it's not gonna be a tuna pasta salad, it's gonna be like a chicken pasta salad. So we're kind of just winging this and we're gonna go with it. But first we do have our noodles cooked and we're gonna get all the rest of our stuff ready. Holy cow, this house is hot.
Ain't nobody out of Tennessee or Kentucky cares about Dolly.
Everybody cares about Dolly.
Nobody, I bet if I asked like 50% of the people on earth,
They would tell you they love Dolly.
honey,
I promise you they would.
I'm sure if they heard of her, they love Dolly. Everybody loves Dolly.
Everybody loves Dolly.
Everybody that know her though. Not many people know her.
Everybody knows who Dolly is.
You sure about that?
Yes, she's a legend. All right, now we're gonna chop up some celery. You think you'll be done with that soon?
Yeah. Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling?
All right, celery is in now. And we're gonna chop up a couple eggs. Okay, next we've got some organic roasted chicken in a can. We're just gonna kind of rough chop it just to get it a little bit more fine. All right, our bowl is full here, but I think we can make this work.
Love you.
Love you. I do have some green onions that I cut. So I'm just gonna rough chop some of those. I think it'll make it good. Ultimately, I just need to use them. So they're going in here. All right, we've got some homemade mayo. I do have some peas that I'm gonna put in here. They were frozen, so they're thawing right now. They'll be done in just a second, and then I will add my peas. We are gonna do about a half a cup of yogurt. We are gonna do some paprika, and then salt and pepper. And we'll get this all mixed up, and then we'll actually taste it and see if it's good or if we need anything else. Okay, that is pretty delicious. I tasted it, I love it. I'm gonna wait until Zach gets home and let him try it and see if he thinks it needs anything else or if it's good to go. But now we just chill it. Okay, this next one is more of like a traditional pasta salad with like an Italian sauce. So we're gonna start cutting up a red bell pepper and a green bell pepper. We're gonna cut up some banana peppers, some artichoke hearts. We're gonna use some feta, some ham, cucumbers. Yeah, so let's get going. Okay, so I did add the peas and I added some dill, and we're gonna do a little bit more salt and pepper, but it's really good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. And I can see how it'd been really good with tuna too. Did you tell me that part?
Yeah.
But I like it with chicken. I like it with chicken as well.
All right, I'm gonna get cutting for this other pasta salad.
I added just a dash, a little bit more pepper and some paprika, and that give it a little kick, a little nice kick to it. This is really good. This is fantastic. I would highly recommend that as a different style pasta salad, because sometimes you just get over the Italian one, but
Yeah.
we're gonna do that too.
It's summer, we need pasta salad.
That's right.
Okay, we've got a green bell pepper, a red bell pepper, and then one cucumber, just a little cucumber. Don't want to overpower it. And our noodles in here. And I just wanted to add really quick, this might not be like a traditional pasta salad. It's not even really our traditional pasta salad. This is like use what you have at home version pasta
But
salad.
isn't that pasta salad?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I do have some pasta salads where I have very specific recipes, but this one is what's on hand. Like, these noodles are not something I would use typically, but they needed to be used up, so that works. Yeah.
Sorry.
Bless you. Okay, we just added in some red onion. Okay, we just added banana peppers and artichoke hearts. Now, this is unconventional, but we're gonna do it. I don't have like the usual meats that you would put in this. I don't have any of that, and I'm not going to buy it because I'm not going to, because that would be stupid. So we're just gonna chop up what we got here. We're gonna chop up some little beef sticks, and we're gonna chop up a little bit of honey ham, and we're gonna throw that in, and I think it'll be really good. Use what you have. Okay, we are gonna throw in some feta cheese. We love feta. Love, love, love feta. We're gonna throw in some of this shredded our sharp cheddar cheese that we get from Azure. Usually I'll do like I'll cut up blocks and just do little cubes, but we already have this shredded, so that's what we're using this time. We're gonna do a little lemon juice. We're gonna do some salt and pepper. And now comes time for our dressing part. So I don't know about your house, but in our house, we are getting away from all store-bought dressings, you know, mayonnaise, ranch, stuff like that. We're getting away from all of that. We are switching to making our own. We have it at home. We have all the ingredients. It's better for us. We're gonna make it at home. However, with that process being done, I still am switching. Sorry. I'm not gonna throw away what we have. I'm gonna use it up, and then when we use up that dressing, we'll switch to making it ourselves. So with that being said, I do have some store-bought Italian left over still, so that is what we're gonna use on this. It'll take all the rest of it, and then we will be free of store-bought Italian, and we can start making our own, which is so super simple. But yeah, just a note for that. Yes, we are starting to make all of our own, and it's really exciting, and I hope you will join us on that journey for so many reasons. I don't have to preach to you why. You know, you understand, you get it. And if you don't, ask questions, and we will help, or your friends and our friends down in the comments will help. But that's the journey that we're on. So we've got our dressing on now, and we are going to get this good and mixed up and try it and see if we need anything else. This is a beautiful, colorful, I'm not worried about the pasta because it's durum wheat, it's whole wheat, colorful, like I said, tasty, so good, so many good ingredients, protein packed. It's just a wonderful side addition to dinners, lunches, snacks, whatever we want. But now it's made, it'll be chilled in the fridge, and it's so good.
All right, before we go tackle this garden and go check out some stuff out there, I did want to let everybody know we have a new product back in stock alert. Chickweed, everyone's favorite weight management tincture, is back in stock. It's been out for a little while. So happy to say that one's in. Remember, there are a whole bunch of things that are back in stock now. So like parasite cleanse, valerian, hibiscus, rose hips, bunch of stuff. Elderberry, everything's back. And then we'll continue to be adding some more in there. So just wanted to let you all know that that's back in stock. It's a great product, works really well. That is chickweed tincture, and you can get it at thestivershomestead.com, along with all of our other products. All right, lunch was absolutely fantastic. Jen killed it with those two pasta salads. Man, they were both so daggone good. But I wanted to come out here before the rains come, because we're in that time frame where we're getting some storms, pop-up storms that are coming in. They're usually pretty severe. But I wanted to show you some stuff that we've done in the garden and talk to you a little bit about the seriousness of this. But first, look at all of those little cherries. They're lined up everywhere. These cherry bushes are absolutely loaded with cherries. I'm hoping that now, because we don't have to worry about a frost now, I'm really hopeful that we can get them before the animals and the birds get them. So I'm gonna have to keep checking on these very often, because like, look down here. They're everywhere. I want to keep a check on them about every day. As soon as they're ripe, start pulling them off there, because them birds will get them quick. See? It's a coming. All right, so in the greenhouse, things are getting a little slim because we got stuff out hardening out, but these are our cucumbers. Here's some more peppers. Look at these green beans. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. These green beans are ready to go in the ground basically immediately, and we only planted them, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Over here we have our sugar baby watermelons, and actually this is kind of a flex that we got going on here. These are 2 different rattlesnakes that are planted. This one was store-bought. Let's see, it's actually Haas. However, don't look at Haas for this because it's an old seed. But these rattlesnake watermelons here are actually the seeds that we saved, and you all remember me talking to you about how important that was to make sure that you're saving your seeds. First off, to learn that, just learn how to do that. Make sure you're saving your seeds, but also those plants are going to be more tolerant of your environment than any other seed, one that was actually grown on your ground. So that's a really important thing to remember, and those I have high hopes for. So this is our cantaloupe and honeydew. Our zucchini and squash is looking really good. It's basically almost ready to go in the ground too. We got some pumpkins here. They're basically all ready to go in the ground. And then here's our herbs. So we have some marshmallow, some thyme, wormwood's going everywhere. I don't have a valerian just yet. However, I do have a lavender, so that's really exciting. And a few horehound. Whew, it's getting close to where that greenhouse used to be such a relief to go into because it was warm and it was cold out here. Now it's almost unbearable to be in there, and you want to be out here because it's getting so hot. But the real exciting news is we got our tomatoes planted. So this bed looked like that bed, so I had to clear it out again, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. That took forever, but we got all the tomatoes planted in. I can already tell they're going through a little bit of transplant shock. I actually don't prefer to have this big of a tomato plant. To me, I really prefer transplanting much smaller plants than how large these tomato plants were. The smaller plants just seem to have less transplant shock, which I've talked to you about that before. And these bigger ones, you're like, oh, I got a big one, I'm getting a head start. In my opinion, you really don't, because the small one will catch up to the big one because it doesn't have as much transplant shock as the big ones do. So they don't look fantastic right now, but they'll get there and they'll get better. And we use these cattle panels, and we'll prune them. Last year we let them just get as big as they want. We didn't do any trimming. That was cool, but it was really hard to maintain them. So we will be pruning these a little bit more and just attaching them to the cattle panels as they go up. Cattle panel stands about 6 foot high because I took it off the ground some, and then the tomatoes will go even higher than that. But y'all, these beds are insane. It's absolutely ridiculous because y'all saw we cleaned these things up completely just about a month ago, and you know, you get busy doing other stuff and wow, bam, here comes all these weeds back. And that's really part of kind of 2 issues. One, this property over here was just they never did anything with it. So the weeds and stuff that are in this ground that we're tackling are relentless because they were like, it was ours first, you need to go away. So we were just battling, trying to get these very just aggressive weeds out of this area. We didn't do ourselves any favors by last year not gardening, basically taking the year off, and then not coming over here to clean this jungle out. So these weeds even got more set in because they're like, we won, so now let's really set a base. Because when I pull them out, there is such a root colony that's going on in these weeds that I have got to, I'm getting huge weeds out of there, or huge roots out of there. So that's why they keep coming back so dominant. So just an FYI, if you plan on toning it down or slowing down or taking a year off, make sure you're at least getting in there and not letting it become a jungle, because that sucks. But something I really wanted to talk to you all about was this year it's feeling a little bit more serious. So I would recommend, if you are thinking about taking the year off, maybe power through this year, because we really have kind of a gut instinct that with all the stuff that's going on and the issues with imports and exports and just the access to things, that it might start getting a little tougher, kind of like it was in 2020, where things are either going to be really high priced or they're going to be harder to get. Toilet paper. And this isn't to scare or cause alarm or anything like that. You can see it. We can all see what's going on. We can see that there's not much stuff that's coming into our country, and we're gonna have, like we said, that kind of waiting moment till things maybe can pick back up and catch up. But that just means it's gonna be higher demand, higher prices, and low stock of everything that's going on there. And the last thing you want to do is go pay for a $10 tomato or $12 tomato at the store because that's what the prices are going to be, when you know you can just grow it at home. I understand, I get it, don't get me wrong. I know it costs a lot more to grow a tomato at home than 10 bucks, but still, it's the just the policy of it. We shouldn't be spending that much for tomatoes. I saw eggs are still absolutely insane here. We went to the grocery store and it was like $12 for like whatever they call their top tier of like free range, cage free, all that stuff. $12 for a dozen, and that's just wild. So if the eggs are still gonna be like this, we're gonna see it for everything else too. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, I can't grow a garden. I understand that, I get it. However, there are certain things that you can do that I believe that you can still grow a garden. It can be smaller. Things like the green stock, you know, we talk about those all the time. You can grow so much food in a vertical space that doesn't take up much space. So even if you just have a little patio, or if you're even in an apartment complex, as long as you have a little deck or a patio or whatever, balcony, you can stick at a green stock vertical garden planter out there and grow some food. You can still at least try to supplement some things. But it does feel like this is not really a year that we should really be taking off, and that's just my personal opinion. But Jen and I just feel like things are going to get worse when it comes into the food and paper products before it gets better. And you know, that's not just garden stuff either, but the garden is how we can help our grocery bill out by growing it ourselves, because I do feel like paper products are going to probably get a pretty big hit here in the very near future. So like, we grabbed a couple extra paper towels and toilet paper just to be safe, because it does feel like in the next couple weeks, month or so, we might really start seeing some shortages, or maybe a little freak out panic of people buying some stuff up, or maybe it's not necessary, but you have to react to what people are doing. So I don't know. The biggest thing is keep a positive mind and try to just make sure that yourself is prepared and that you are doing what you can to kind of supplement what the world's doing. Because the one thing that we know that we need to not do is blame. So we shouldn't be doing any blame game. We can only control what we can control. So let's make sure that we're doing that. Let's not just sit back and relax and let things happen and not do anything for ourselves and just be like, well, there was nothing I could do. There's always something we can do. Another thing that you can do if you absolutely cannot grow a garden, go to a fresh produce and start stocking up on some of these tomatoes and green beans and squashes and all that stuff that you like, and can it. Let's go ahead and get it now while the price is pretty decent, and can it, because as long as you have a kitchen, a stove, you don't even have to have that. You can do it outside over a fire if you absolutely need to. You can can some stuff and make sure that you got some food back in your pantry. So you don't always have to grow it. Go find it local. Let's get it now while you can. And then put it back so you have it for this summer in case there are shortages of, let's say, tomatoes, and you can't get your hands on them. You'll have a pantry full. So even though things seem to be getting a little serious, don't beat yourself up and don't be too serious. Just plan, prepare, and get it done. What are you doing now?
Okay, now it's time to make pickles, fermented pickles. So we've got our cucumbers. Soon these will be homegrown. I cannot wait. So tired of buying cucumbers. And we don't buy pickles anymore, so we ferment our own. Mainly for Raylan, she loves them. So yeah, we gotta get these washed first. Okay, so we are going to be fermenting pickles. This is just an old pickle jar, but it's a wide mouth, so you need a wide mouth jar. You need cucumbers, pickling cucumbers. You need some dill, ideally homegrown. You need some dill seed, some black peppercorns, some mustard seed, filtered water, and non-iodized salt. Oh, and some cloves of garlic. So we are just going to chop our cucumbers first. We're going to put them in our jar, and then we'll go from there. Actually, I went ahead and just put some of the dill down in the bottom, and then we'll put our cucumbers in. Okay, we've got all our pickles in. We are doing 2 jars at a time. And now we are getting our garlic. So we're going to do about 3 cloves per jar, but I am going to smash them so that the flavor can release. That's what they say. I don't know. Okay, we've got our garlic in both jars, and now we're going to do 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns per jar. We're also going to do 1 teaspoon of mustard seeds per jar. And then we're going to do a teaspoon of dill seeds per jar. Okay, we just fill our jars up with filtered water from our Berkey. Don't use tap water, use any kind of filtered, non-chlorinated water. And now we're gonna do 1.5 teaspoons of non-iodized salt per jar. All right, now we have our weights. Oh, please fit, come on. Honey. No. Okay, our weights they're not going to fit in these jars, and you're going to come across that when you're fermenting. Sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. So the whole point is for everything to be under the water. You don't want anything above the water because that can start to create mold and all that kinds of stuff. So everything is under the water, and then we just set those little tops on there. Make sure you squeeze them. And we're going to put these in our pantry in a cool, dark place for 3 to 5 days. We're going to check them, see how they taste. If they're good and we are satisfied, then we'll put them in the fridge, and there you go. You have fermented pickles. If you're not comfortable with any of that, you could do exactly what I did. Put the lid on, put them in the fridge, and you have refrigerator pickles. Still much better than store-bought pickles. A whole lot less ingredients. You know exactly what's in them. So yeah, you don't have to ferment. That's totally up to you. If you still buy pickles at the store and you want to stretch them, one thing you could do is save the pickle juice and then add cucumbers to that leftover pickle juice. There you go. You're saving money, beating the system, all kinds of different ways around it. But that's fermented pickles.
Jen is now cutting cantaloupe up for the kids, and I made her granola again to have that. That's been a staple in this house every week now, just to have. It's such a nice little treat. And you know, obviously it's healthy because we're choosing healthier ingredients, but it's still something you need in what do you call it?
I mean, I just like it.
Portion control.
Portion control, but it's not processed.
Yes, it's not processed.
That's the thing we're trying to get away from, is anything processed. And
Yeah.
obviously that's not, 100% doable and possible all the time. Yes, we still, have kids that like treats every now and then, but we do our best. And I would say it's more on the side of non-processed than processed.
Yeah, I would agree. We don't buy anything from a box in a store anymore. That only comes from Thrive, or we make it ourselves, kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. But besides that, with the talk that we had in the garden, talking about how it feels like things might get a little tough here in the next couple weeks or month or so. That also goes for your inside stuff as well. So not just garden things, but flour,
Yes.
rice,
sugar,
bread.
beans. Canned meats are so important.
Yeah, so that was what I was getting at. Is it's not that we won't be able to get our hands on it. My worry is the price it's going to cost to get your hands on it, plus the shortage of stuff. So instead, while you're also maybe canning some tomatoes and green beans and trying to get some of that stuff early, go ahead and get some meat too. If you can find some meat on sale, you can go ahead and can the meat up. Well, I know we specifically have videos on how to can meat. You can just go back and do some researching if you haven't ever done it before. But it's very easy and it's very good, and it gives you a sense of stability when you know that is shelf safe in your pantry. Yeah. Because I don't know how much I would trust deep freezes either right now. I don't know about you all in your area, but our weather has been so shaky that, our power,
especially going into summer.
Yeah, exactly. So I wouldn't say go buy a bunch and put it in your freezer. I would buy some and try to can it or freeze dry it or something like that. Just preserve it away. That'll just give you a sense of stability and comfort, knowing that you have this food and you're not going to have to worry or stress out if it does become a little bit of an issue in the grocery stores.
Sure. Also, these are things that we have tried to tell you all for years, and so many of you have taken our advice, and you've started doing this all yourself, and it's beautiful to watch. But don't just use these events and then decide to become more prepared or self-sustainable or less reliant on big box stores and the government. You should always be working towards this, no matter what. I don't understand a mindset where you're just like, it'll always be there, it'll always be at the store. I don't understand that. I've never thought that way. I don't know, I think that everybody should try to prepare as much as you can. I know that that's all different levels with affordability and stuff, but at least trying.
Yeah, exactly. And this stuff doesn't have to be expensive. Like you don't have
Dollar Tree.
Yeah, Dollar Tree. You can buy the cheap cuts and then just make sure you have it stocked up in that way. I mean, it's like I said before. It's about controlling what you can control. You never want to get into the mindset where you're blaming because you can't get something, so you kind of get the blame game going on. And really not even on the praise side either. Like you want to praise yourself. Like, you want it to be that you and your family have done this and you're controlling what you can control and you're ready for whatever might come out. Yeah. I promise you that gives you so much less stress and anxiety with whatever the world is throwing at us because you're not that worried about it. You're alert, you're aware, but when it doesn't impact you too hard, then it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
So with that being said, y'all, we hope you enjoyed today's video. Got some ideas on some stuff to do at your own home. Like I said, with those weeds, I've got a job and a half to do to try to get rid of all those weeds out there and get the rest of our garden planted, but that will be coming soon. But other than that, y'all stay safe. This weather's crazy, the world's crazy, but you don't have to be crazy in your house. You can be prepared. We love y'all.
I love you.
Until the next one.
Bye.
Bye.